In this video, we'll be converting the magnetic pedal module to allow it to work on older wheels like the carbon Formula steering wheel. The magnetic pedal module is officially compatible with Fanatec wheels and hubs that have the 6-pin connector. This is the same connection that is used for the advanced podium module. Older wheels like the carbon Formula do not have the 6-pin connector. The earlier model steering wheels only have a 2-pin connector on the circuit board for the shifters. As the magnetic module uses a simple micro switch, this can be adapted to use the older 2-pin shifter connections. To test the module and check the connections, we can use a multimeter. The multimeter is set to continuity. In this mode, when the circuit is closed, we will hear a beep. This way we can find the pins that are active when the switch is pressed. In the pedal module, a straight pick is placed in between the shifter and the lever to keep the switch pressed during the test. On the connector, we can start testing by touching each of the pins with the multimeter probes. By working through each pin combination, we can find the 2 wires that are connected to the switch. In this case, it's the 2nd and 4th pin. To confirm this, we can remove the item holding the shifter closed. Then touch the 2 pins found in the test and press the shifter. The multimeter will only beep when the switch is pressed and the circuit is closed. There are a few different ways the magnetic shifter can be adapted to work. We could source the correct 6-pin socket and 2-pin plug and then make an adapter cable to fit in between the new shifter and the wheel. Or another method is to cut the original shifter cable and then join the 2-pin plug to the new magnetic shifter module. To access the original shifter connections, the 2 front bolts and the rear cover are removed on the steering wheel. The connections can now be unplugged from the circuit board. Next, the original shifters are removed from the steering wheel. The cable is then cut in the middle. This allows enough wire to reconnect the plug and also to rewire the original parts if ever needed. On the magnetic pedal module, the shifter cable is also cut towards the middle. Both the ends of the wires are stripped on the magnetic shifter and on the original shifter 2-pin cable. Two small pieces of heat shrink are cut. These will cover the individual wire connections, and one larger piece is cut to cover both wire connections. The larger piece of heat shrink is placed over the wires coming from the shifter. The 2 smaller pieces are placed over each of the smaller wires. The ends of the wires are twisted together and then soldered. When the solder has cooled, the heat shrink is slid over the wire connection. A butane pen torch is used to apply heat to the heat shrink. The larger piece of heat shrink is moved over the wires and heat is applied. The same method of cutting the 2-pin connector and soldering it to the magnetic module is applied to the second shifter. The shifter is installed by passing the cable to the inside of the wheel, then using the longer bolts from the magnetic module kit. Then the cables are plugged into the connections on the wheel. Next, the carbon paddles are installed to the shifters. The rear cover and the front bolts are reinstalled to the wheel to complete. This makes for an easy way to adapt the new magnetic shifter module and upgrade your old steering wheels.